bring it.
Yeah, bring it.
Bam.
Oh my God. Cheers.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh, that little.
Guinness out of a can. I don't feel that good.
I went to the Guinness factory. It wasn't a big deal. I had Guinness there.
The Dublin one or the Baltimore one? Yeah. I'd really like to go to that one.
Yeah.
They got one in Baltimore.
I don't think I'm allowed back there.
I was talking about Guinness in the gym, and the good old phone, listens to every fucking thing you say.
All of a sudden, the ads start popping up.
Yeah, so I guess they have some kind of a thing in August in the Baltimore one, and that might be worth going, getting drunk, and
eating a hot dog.
Possibly getting arrested. I've never done that.
Get arrested in Baltimore? You'd be lucky if you got arrested.
Oh, that's true, yeah. We'll probably get
robbed and killed.
Yeah. I don't know. We can fight pretty well.
Yeah. Depends on the odds, but you know how it is, man. Unpredictable. Anyway. What were we talking about?
We covered a lot of stuff. We had a very interesting discussion about psychedelics, and then we found this beer that looks like that's what it was meant. You kind of gave a description on your experience with the beer.
Are we going to talk about the beer?
Just for the next 4 seconds, I was thinking.
Yeah, it's not. It's
barfing up stars, and it's called Space Dust. And
Elysian
you mentioned
Space Dust IPA.
You mentioned the mind erasing technique.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Of course, it got my attention in the stores years ago because it's like 8.3% alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, there's another beer called Raging Bitch that's 8.3% alcohol, and I like the 7 to 8%er range because then you get into 9-10% of beers. They taste weird, and then it's malt liquor. It doesn't.
It tastes like pussy ass liquor.
It just tastes like shit.
Yeah,
and then you get ridiculously fucked up. But there's something about this because I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago, my brother missed his flight from fucking LAX to Dulles, Washington.
Yeah,
because he was drinking these. He's like, that's never happened to me before, man. I don't know what happened. And I was like, I kind of believed him. And I was like, well, you fucking drank too much. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So I tried it out. I started drinking them, but I was sharing it with people and stuff. And I was like, yeah, it definitely messes you up. And then one time I got my own 6-pack. And then the next day, I was just like, ooh. What day is it?
Wow.
And so then I sent a picture to old Gary Kreider. I think his name comes up on every single one of our talks.
Yeah.
He saw a picture of me with it, and he just said, hey, my cousin drank 6 of those, said he blacked out for the first time in his life. My cousin. He goes, and I was just like, no shit.
Yeah.
You're not the first person to tell me that. And I find that if I crush a 6-pack of these, the next day I'm either apologizing to people or cleaning shit up. My life I left in shambles, and I managed to wreck it in about 8 hours. But so I don't know what the secret. I like it. I'm not bashing the beer, but
there's something to it.
Be careful.
I feel a pressure building in the back of the head.
Oh no, that's a stroke, buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had one.
Well,
we should talk about that at some point too.
We did once.
I don't remember.
I never uploaded.
Probably drinking this.
I never hacked the part of the video. We'd already moved on to making new stuff. And
at 46 years old, man, I had a stroke. But it was due to an accident. It impacted the back of my neck, which caused an arterial dissection. And my body tried to heal it with a blood clot, and the blood clot blew away and went to my brain. And
hence the stroke.
Hence, I got high. I was just like, whoa.
It was so awesome, you almost didn't want to get fixed.
Well, I wasn't sure. I was just fucking gone. And should we talk about that right now?
Yeah, I think if we do it strategically, it'll be worth it.
So all that happened was I was an area manager, but 3 days a week I would go out on routes with different guys. I'll talk about the company later. It's a great company, love it. But and I would do quality control and shit like that. But I can't just sit there and take notes. I help. And so I worked with the guys. And, hey, man, the quicker we get done, the more efficient, the happier the customers are, the quicker we get to go home.
Yeah, so you were pitching in, moving shit.
Always. I loved it. It kept me, and also helped me stay in shape.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to resist either.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And they loved me for it. The guys were like, you're going with me today?
Yeah.
And they were getting excited, And not like, because normally if somebody's coming along to grade your ass,
yeah,
they don't want that.
Right.
So I'm grading them, but we're gonna get done in like 3 hours less than you normally do.
Yeah, like the Seven Dwarfs, if there were
Oh
a
yeah,
happy.
exactly like that.
Yeah, I don't think there was a happy.
Yeah, there wasn't.
No.
Well, that's all racist content anyway, man.
The goddamn dwarves.
We can't talk about the goddamn dwarves.
Yeah.
Disney.
Not the modern
Anyway,
dwarves. You were picking shit up, and
so we were leaving. I'll never forget, man. It was like Wingstop or Wing Factor or something like that. And the guy I was with, Dave, great dude, probably in his 60s, mid 60s, been with the company forever. He's already walked way ahead of me to the truck, and I said, "Hey, I'll finish up." And I grabbed, I think, a couple carpets, put it like that, and I bent down to undo the little block we put in the door because we always come in through the back, like kitchens, stuff like that, different restaurants or facilities, whatever. And also later on, I'll tell you about the reason the vetting for that was so intense, because we went to police departments, we went to the creepiest medical facilities I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Robots were moving rats in plastic fucking in plastic little cages. Just zzz, zzz. It was just moving them, and it had this little red scanner, and it would go across the rats and stop on one and grab it and put it in another shelf.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And the glass I'm looking through was about that thick. So I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. And the guy's like, I come here once a week. And I'm like, let's fucking go, man. What is this? And it was like underground, and it was, should I say the name?
No. The facility?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
You can name the facility. I wouldn't go
I
there.
didn't
You
give
work
them any
for it.
proprietary information, but it's hard to get in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Armed guards and shit everywhere. You got to go down this ramp. It's like, what was the... Man, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, played the guy.
Area 51.
No, man. It's here in Virginia. Hefner. I keep wanting to say Hugh Hefner, but that's ridiculous. That's Playboy.
Humphrey Hughes. The spruce.
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes.
We nailed it.
My guy was a person, too. He's just the wrong person.
Okay. That was a weird... But what I'm saying, so it's called the Howard Hughes Medical Research Facility. And it's the strangest place. When you drive up there, there's just no one walking around, but there are places to walk around. You know what I mean? Like parks, benches, little this and that. And you drive. They had their own apartment building. So what happens is they had these scientists come from all over the world, and they stay right here in Virginia, and they live at this facility. And these little golf carts and shit pick them up and take them underground to study God knows what. And I was down there, bro, and the uniforms they get are very special. You got to hand them gloves, and then you got to put them in these plastic bags, and they go to a special facility to get cleaned and come back. I don't think there's anything truly nefarious going on there, or else we wouldn't even be there. But it's definitely fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's very strange because you will not interact with one employee there ever. And the only time when they let you out these clear glass gates, when you go back out to the truck ramp, it's just some dude, you can barely see his head through like glass this thick. And he's just like wearing the shit over his face. It's like Star Wars or something.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to catch
and he's
shit.
like, and he lets you out. You're like, is this cool? That was the weirdest one I ever did. But anyway,
Wow.
I was with the guy. I reached down to take the little chalk out of the door. And when I stood up, I thought I was having a head rush. Like, woof, man, I should eat something. But it was intense, like spirit world. I was like, whoa, I feel wasted.
It's not like camping.
So I'm walking towards Dave, the truck, and then this guy was older. And I really appreciate this because I feel like there's a human instinct deep inside our DNA from way back. Like the way you say something, someone knows you're in peril.
Sure.
And I just remember walking and it wouldn't go away. And I think I took the carpet down and held it like this and I went, Dave? And I could just tell by the way he got back out and looked at me. He's like, you all right? I'm like, I don't know. Like something's off. Got to the truck. He looks at me. He's like, sit down. And he goes, do you want some water? maybe don't drink any water. You want some aspirin? Maybe don't take any aspirin. I'm calling 911. And I was like, no, don't call 911.
Yeah.
Let me just collect my shit for a second.
I ain't no pussy.
And bro, it was just like, just craziness. And everything was in slow motion and weird, but I could talk. And I could breathe. And there was no pain. I felt no pain, so I thought, I'm not having a heart attack. And I remember looking down the pavement and going, I'm doing a breathing exercise. 6 in, 6 out. Like they teach in the military.
Yeah.
Get that calmness, 6 in, 6 out. I was thinking, wasn't doing shit. Like I was, in fact, it was getting worse. And so I looked at Dave, and he went, what I didn't realize, first of all, I didn't know I was having a stroke.
Yeah.
And so this eye was like down.
Right.
And I just went, I don't know, man, I just can't concentrate. I said, I can't concentrate on anything. And he went like this.
He lost his shit.
I'm calling 911. And he goes around. I'm like, no. Just chill. He goes, I'm his boss. So he's like, really? I don't know. And then all of a sudden, dude, with precision, literally, my body was bisected.
Yeah.
And the biggest part I felt was, believe it, in my tongue.
I mean, you were feeling that, a traveling...
Just all of a sudden,
bisection.
Half my body went numb.
Yeah.
And my tongue, right up the middle of my tongue, it just went, and I went, okay, something's really wrong.
Yeah.
And he goes, I know what to do. And he started kind of laughing. He's like, now I don't need your fucking permission. Calls 911, and the guys, and I'm sitting there for a minute, I'm trying to breathe, and he's trying to help me. But the crazy thing was, I can't remember if I knew, like, dude, this is a stroke. It's half my body. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But you don't really put that together. You just know shit's fucked up.
Yeah.
But I was not scared. However, I did not want to... I remember looking at the pavement and just thinking, I'm not much of a prayer guy, but not here.
Yeah.
Not in the pavement, by a dumpster, behind Wingstop. I'm going to tell my kids I fucking fell down dead.
Yeah.
So, thank God. I guess that worked. So the ambulance guys show up, but it's been 5 minutes or so. Yeah. They got there fast because we were in really close to Loudon. And Loudon Inova, which is one of our clients. We were just there. I might as well have had the stroke in the hospital. Yeah. But so they got there fast, and they come out, and they wear all blue, like dark blue. The ambulance guys, kind of like military guys. Mm-hmm. And now I'm fucking way out of it now. And I just remember looking at Dave going, whatever, man. I just can't I can't focus on anything. And I couldn't. It's like my brain was just going nuts. I know I'm at work, but I'm not sure why. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, these two guys show up, and they're standing over me. And I push the guy. And Dave, I was like, get the fuck away from me. And Dave's like, hey, Devin, it's them. It's them. They're here to help. I was like, oh. And they're like, did you eat this morning? And I was like, you think? Yeah. I got lightheaded. Bro, I know the difference. Yeah. And then they looked at my eye, and he goes, oh. I was just like, well, that's fucking... Yeah. And he's like, hey, let's, you need to go in. You got a problem? And they're like, we're putting you on the... And I'm like, you guys can't get my big ass... Yeah. Next thing I knew, I'm on a gurney. And they're throwing me in the ambulance, and we're gone, bro. Woo. Yeah. And as we're going, he keeps checking me. He's like, dude, you're having a stroke. Yeah. And I was just like, no, I'm not. Like, that's impossible.
Sounds like bullshit to me.
And he goes like this. I mean, dude, we're riding. Ambulances are loud, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. Which is also like a truck I was in with a company. Loud as fuck. And I was like, am I in the back of the truck? They're like, you're in an ambulance, dude. And he goes, do me a favor, raise your left arm up. And so I went, and I couldn't do it. Wow. It felt like hot needles got jammed into my shoulder. Like, and I went like that. That's about as far as I could get it. He went, all right, I already put it down. He goes, all right, that's cool. Hey, Dave, can we go lights and sirens, please? And he went, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. And I'm like, what? He's like,
we do this with everyone.
Raise your left arm.
Having a stroke.
That looks pretty bad. Dave, can we go lights and sirens? And right away, woo, we fucking haul ass. We get there, and they throw me in this shit's happening so fast. But again, I was never scared. And one of the things they don't know about me is, hey man, if you're going to shoot me up with opioids, I'm all about it. You know, I'm not an addict, but hey, that's a good time.
Yeah.
Because nothing matters when they hit you with morphine, man. You're in
Yeah.
the military, you know that. You're like, I don't want to die. Hey, you know what? Is there any movies on?
I'll find something to do when I'm dead.
There's no movies. We're in the woods. All right, but I mean, can we put on a play? I don't care. I mean, whatever. And so they got me high as fuck. And then they put me down, and they're going to do a scan. This all happened fast, right? And they're like, hey, man, you're definitely having a stroke, you know, and it looks like something happened. Did you get in trouble? Like, did you get a fight or something hit you? Because you've got this broken artery that tried to clog the. So an arterial dissection is when, so you got a tube, and inside the tube, a piece of the flesh comes down.
Sure.
And it's going like that. So your body tries to stick it back to the top with a blood clot.
Yeah.
And I guess when I got out and started doing more shit, the blood pressure increased, and that came loose and went to my brain.
I see.
And it went to the right side of my brain, which caused the left side. And they're telling me that, hey, man, you need to calm down. I'm like, I'm fucking perfectly calm. They're like, no, you're not. Because I don't know what's happening to me.
Yeah.
So, like, music to my ears. I'm laying there, and they're like, Mr. LeJour, have you ever heard of morphine? I'm like, fucking plunge it. Because this sucks. Like, I'm not in any pain, but this sucks. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, plunge that shit. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of morphine. Let's do it. Is it in yet or what? And so they hit me with that. And then I'm like, was anybody called my wife? They're like, hey, where's your insurance card?
We need you to sign here.
Where's your insurance? Oh, bro, and they're cutting my clothes off. And yeah, no, they had an iPad. And they're like, they take another scan. They're like, you got a blood clot, man. They're like, hey, we're going to use this shit called blood. What do they call it? They called it a clot buster.
Yeah.
Like it's a brand new drug, but we need your signature to use it. I'm like, is it going to save my life? They're like, uh-huh. And I'm like, then fucking use it. And they're like, well, you got to sign this. So I'm like, I like scribble on an iPad. Bam. And then here's what the male nurse says. He's like, cool, I've never used this before. And I'm like, where am I right now?
Oh, man.
They do that, and the guy goes, hey, listen, you're going to kind of bleed from everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? He's like, eyes, ears, nose, throat, gums, anus. And I was like, all those things have already happened to me.
Bring it.
As long as the morphine's
Nothing
getting pumped,
new.
I don't give a shit. Nothing new there, bro.
Blood on my ass? Please.
So then my teeth and gums are bleeding like shit, and they're like, you can't drink any water. I'm like, oh my God.
Watch me.
Spit in my mouth. Something. It was just nasty. So then they need to take another image of my brain, and so they're like, hey man, so we're going to shoot an image, but this time we need dye and contrast. That's what it's called. They're going to put this dye into my system so that when they take pictures of my brain, they can find the clot exactly where it is. Because apparently the clot buster, there's blood coming out of my teeth, but it wasn't moving it. And we're going to take one more image, and he goes, now, Mr. LeJour, when I put in the dye, you're going to feel extreme warmth in your neck, pelvis, crotch, and anus. And I was just like, that's oddly specific.
Bring it.
Yeah, again, I'm fine with that.
Eat that ass up.
But just those spots, huh? And sure enough, they hit you with that shit. You're like, and I was like, it felt like I just took a gigantic gulp of hot sake, but it went down straight out my asshole. And they get another image, and turns out the shit's not working, right? And so all of a sudden, my wife's there because now I'm so fucking high.
Yeah.
Oh, because they were like, hey, he's still wiggling, man. We need him to hold still. They're like, more morphine. And I'm like, bring it. And now I'm just happy. And so like, hey, man, we're going to put you on a helicopter. Do you want your wife with you on the helicopter? And this, I swear to God, my answer, yeah, bring it. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want her on the helicopter. That way, if that shit goes down, the whole family goes out.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And they were laughing, but kind of like, it's not like that. But then the helo got tied up, right? So like, bam, they rushed me out to an ambulance, and my wife's with me, and we get an ambulance, because they need to take me to Inova Fairfax at this point, because they're like, hey man, they're going to take better care of you there. Yeah. And I'm like, whatever you say, you know? And they're hitting me with shit more. So we're in the ambulance, and my wife's like, we're going 95 miles an hour. I'm like, I don't give a shit, you know?
Bring it.
And listen, dude, by the time, so we get to Fairfax, I know of Fairfax, and apparently, I was so high I didn't know. There's like 8 doctors, like, bring it. Like, they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me into this room, and they're like, you're going to go into surgery. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have to go in through your groin to your brain. And I was kind of like, yeah, do what you got to do, but maybe you got some more of that shit, huh?
Yeah.
And so, I shit you not, they're like, they start wheeling me down to this surgery they're going to do, and then all of a sudden, the lady goes, sir, this is fentanyl going in. I'm like the shit in the news, man?
Bring it.
And I was just like, if you say it's okay, I mean, I'm down. I mean, maybe use a little more than usual. I don't care. So hits me with that. This is on the way.
Yeah.
I already know. So now I've got 2 doses of morphine and fentanyl in me. And I'm just like...
And one wife.
she can't come in the surgery. So we get in there. Now listen to me. I shit you not. It's a very clear memory. We get in there because I have to stay awake for this, the brain thing. Because otherwise they can't put you under. And so I'm like... I could swear we were in the hospital cafeteria because they're like, it's such an emergency, we don't have any rooms. So we're just going to take it and do it in the cafeteria. And I was like, can I get a Coke?
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck? No. What? And then,
hold the Coke.
I shit you not, after all that stuff, this guy, he's getting ready to cut into my goddamn inner thigh.
Yeah.
And then he goes, it's going to ruin the mapping. That's the last thing I heard. Oh, plus they put my head in like a vice. Like this thing, I'm like,
he had to clear the area.
can I get a banana? How about a Coke? And then he goes, it's going to ruin the mapping. So she goes, okay. Dilaudid, going in. Dilaudid's like morphine. And so, man, I was fucked up. I was gone. I'm like, then when he goes cutting, I kind of winced because I knew it was coming, but I didn't feel anything.
Right.
But I just felt the pressure and the tug. And then he's working on it, and they send this thing all the way up to your brain to remove this clot.
Claw, right?
And they keep I don't know, it's tiny, but I shit you not, you can hear it. It sounds like you ever get a gnat in your ear?
Yeah.
You can hear it. Yeah, not that, but you can hear him working in your fucking brain. And I'm just like, whoa. And so I was like, I got to share this. I was like, hey, I can hear it. They're like, just hold still, goddamn.
Little to the right.
They're like,
little to the right.
They're like, hold still. And I was like,
shut up, please.
How many people are in here? You know? And so I swear to God, so he gets it. And he goes, hey, man, I think we got you. And I was like, is that fucking thing out of me?
Yeah.
He's like, it's all out of you. Because I didn't feel it, but I knew it was there. And just a cable going through your body. You're just like.
And did you get a reverse sensation?
Nothing. I felt nothing. He just goes, all right, it's out. But I'm about to tell you that. And then within 30 seconds, I can move my arm.
Everything could work again.
Well, it's all fucked up.
But no, like, reverse bisection.
I don't know what you mean.
You said when you first got the clot, you felt your body separate.
Oh, okay, bisected.
There was no undoing of that?
No,
Shit
no.
could just work again?
It actually got worse. And then I'll tell you how.
You felt it more prominently.
Well, here's how. So I just felt like, oh my God, that's gone. And then the drugs slowly wore off. And that was a nightmare. I was in ICU because I just had fucking major surgery. And they didn't want to give me painkillers anymore.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that until the pain set in.
Yeah.
And just think, there was a wire in my brain. Some shit just happened. I had a headache that trumps all headaches ever. It just felt like I'm going to die. And so I tried to tough it out for a while, like, it's got to subside.
Well, you got all the drugs coming out of your system.
I thought it would subside. No. And so I told this nurse, I said, hey, I really need some aspirin, Tylenol, something.
Yeah.
And she was like, ignored me. And then another nurse came on, and she was like, how are you doing? I said, no, get a nurse. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to rip this shit out of my arms. No, I was. I swear, when you're in that kind of pain, the pain was so intense. I said, I'm taking all this shit out of my arms, and I'm walking the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down to the street and buy illegal drugs.
Yeah.
Because this is awful. And finally, this one nurse comes and she's like, "That's ridiculous. You're in that much pain?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding? I'm going to leave, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Get a cop to shoot me. That'll be better if I'm running out of here." And so they finally went and got me the most shitty, fucking most pathetic little oxycodone bullshit. But I took that, and it started to help. But the thing is, after that amount of opioids, you ain't sleeping.
Yeah.
But it was cool. And the funny part is, my wife stayed right with me. That's not the funny part, but she had her iPad, and we're going to be in the ICU for at least a couple days. And she's like, "Hey, what do you want to watch?" And I was like, "I want to watch that Family Guy where Peter has a stroke."
Yeah.
Because I just had a stroke. I was like, "But I'm okay, man.
Right.
I fucking made it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it." Like, I thought it was the end there for a little while. And and then about day 2, once I'm out of the ICU and I'm in they moved me to a hospital room with my wife. I was there for a week, man. I mean, it's a big deal. And I'm sitting there, and I so wanted to go to sleep, but they won't give you stuff to help you sleep because they're like, "Dude, it's a brain thing. You know, we're not trying to keep you awake, but we're not going to give you stuff to put you know, because then we don't know if you're having a..."
Right.
And then so I'm laying there, and I felt relatively normal, and then all of a sudden, all the way, it just went. It felt like all my muscles on the left side just went.
It's tightened.
Well, tightened to rigidity.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. And so I hit the button because they said, "Hit this if any changes." And they all came in, and I was like, "I don't know what up, but just now my whole body just went." And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's muscle spasticity. Nothing to worry about right now. You want some water?"
Jello, maybe?
And I'm like, "Are we sure about this?" Because it just went like I felt it.
Yeah.
In my back, all the way. My whole, my fucking ass, my left butt cheek,
Yeah.
my whole leg, my ankle. All of a sudden, it felt like somebody wrapped an ace bandage around
Recovery is just as stressful as the incidents because you're dealing
that's
with...
what I didn't know, and no one wants to tell me how long it's called muscle spasticity.
Right.
That's what it's called after a stroke.
They don't
because
update
the neurons are still damaged. Because you ask them, "Hey, is this shit going to last my whole life?" They're like, "Have you drank any water today?"
Right.
I'm like,
they don't have answers for your questions, and it's like...
Well, because because they don't. I did a lot of research, and it's like, I don't know, some people recover after a certain amount of years, but just like you told me when we were training, you were like, "Bro, neurons, 2 years at least."
Yeah.
You know, neurons are not a small thing. It's not a torn muscle.
Yeah.
It's your fucking brain.
Yeah.